Welcome to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show. Tune in for a vibrant mix of fashion, finance, and life's essential foundations. Join us for expert interviews, insightful discussions, and empowering insights to elevate your lifestyle. From fashion trends to financial tips and personal growth strategies, we've got you covered. So grab your headphones and get ready to be inspired. Tune in now to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show and embark on this exciting journey with us.
Welcome to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Talk Show. I am your host, Teresa Lawrence, here on KCAA Broadcasting Network, 1050 AM and 106.5 FM, where we cover over 5 million households in the greater Los Angeles area, and we are also affiliated with CNBC, NBC News, and NBC Sports. You can listen to us every Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time on any of your favorite podcasts and streaming channels. We are also in Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and the Android app. Just subscribe to Building Solid Foundations channel. Today, our guest is Sheevaun Moran, and I simply cannot describe this woman because even on her website it says it would be like describing a unicorn. And so I welcome to our podcast Sheevaun. Sheevaun, please tell the audience about yourself, who you are, and what you do. What is it about you that makes everyone describe you as magical, unicorn, inspirational, out of the box? I could keep going, but I was like reading this going, how am I going to do this?
Yeah. So basically, I help to make it as short and simple as possible. I help people create miracles in their lives. It just happens that I do it for businesses. And I have a unique way of doing this that is more energy-based, more soft and subtle, although I am kind of a fierce get-results business person. And so I blend the left brain, the right brain, a subtle energy, the nuance, psychology, and intuitiveness, along with strategy, tactics, and marketing, and health stuff. So I bring it all together under one umbrella.
How long have you been doing this?
Oh,
Because you're
gosh.
just, okay, I'm only asking because, I'm quite woo. Anybody who listens to this show knows, it's like, ooh, it's an energy thing. Let's go. Enjoy. I spent a lot of time in Sedona. I love exploring. But when I read through your stuff, you've been doing this for so long, it seems like you've been doing this before anybody else was doing this.
Yeah, I have.
So please tell me your story, how this started.
So I'll start with the business stuff first. So my first business was at 11, right? And my first business being at 11 meant that I figured out how to buy stuff for myself. It's because my parents wouldn't buy me the sweater that I wanted. And they said, if you can figure it out, then you can have it. So I created my own business. And then my second, and I sold it to my brother for a T-shirt. Anyway, mergers and acquisitions.
At an early stage.
At an early stage. And then the next one was around 14 or 15, and I bought my car with that. And I bought an opportunity to go to college with that. And I bought freedom, basically. And then I went to college for computer programming. I'd been programming when I was in high school.
I was going to say, that seems like a very interesting and unusual choice.
Yeah, my mom didn't want me. I had gotten accepted into a fashion design school. And apparently I didn't know until she left her body that I'd gotten in. And so she enrolled me into computer programming. And I was
And I have to say, for those of you driving, you're not going to be able to see the way she looks, but she is like a fashionista sitting here.
Maybe.
Very stylish. So you had gotten into the fashion.
I wanted to.
Okay.
I wanted to. But she put me in computer programming school.
Okay.
Because I was getting in trouble. Like all people who are creative get in trouble. And I was kind of good at it. And then I went to college, and I was like, I liked marketing and art and math and computer programming. So I went a little big. And then I decided, you know what? I can do this. I can do something on my own. I can create something that is completely different. And I just didn't know what that was. And I decided to go out on my own and explore the world. what did that mean?
Yes, exactly. I was saying, okay.
Exactly. What did that mean?
But before you go on, because I'm just curious, what was the car you bought with your?
Oh, yeah, I wasn't allowed to buy the car that I wanted. So I ended up
But it
with
was your money.
I know, but they were going to pay for insurance.
Okay.
Anyway, I wasn't allowed to buy the car that I wanted. And
I'm just curious. The
yeah.
creative mind.
Yeah, it was a hot rod car. Anyway,
Okay.
something that went fast and had a, you could take the top off. So it was fun. It was a fun car. And I ended up with a Pinto. But you know what?
A Pinto's pretty good.
Beat the heck out of that, and that went across the country like nobody's business. So it was totally fine.
Okay. All right. So now,
Now.
continue. So we were at the point where you got out of college and you had all of these amazing skills and you were putting them all together for you.
I don't think I felt like I had skills. I just felt like I had to learn about life. I mean, I'm pretty introverted, believe it or not. I'm actually
Really hard to believe.
I'm actually very introverted. And I felt like I didn't understand how life worked. And so I moved across the country and started figuring things out. And so I'm going to fast forward a bit. And I ended up in California eventually. And I worked for a guy. The first guy I worked for was an insurance company because I got a transfer, which was like legit. And I left as fast as I could.
Okay.
As soon as I could get out of there and I had some money for a place to stay. And then I worked for this guy who was an engineer, and he made computer accessories. And
What does that mean, computer accessories? It's like all of the gadgets.
any gadget you could imagine. He was the inventor of many multitudes of computer accessories.
Okay.
So anyway, so let's forward this a bit. And I was the number 12th hire. And so I helped them build that to about $140 million and then
Wow.
get that sold to Rubbermaid. And I was like, and my first thought, I didn't know that I didn't know what I didn't know. And I thought, well, they're going to get corporate-y and I got to go. As soon as they get corporate-y, I'm out. And as soon as they got corporate-y, I went and found another one to do that with. And then I did that 4 more times.
Wow.
And I was like, I love this entrepreneur thing. This is so cool. And the one that changed everything was a pharmaceutical company. This woman-owned pharmaceutical company. She was quite interesting. And I helped them go from 3 people to getting bought by a major pharmaceutical company. But in the process of that, I got sick, misdiagnosed, nearly died of blood poisoning. And I decided in the emergency room that I wasn't left here just to die. And I was going to go home and heal myself. Now, honest to God, I really had no idea what that meant. I really had no idea what that meant. So I decided I'll take your injection. And at the time while they're mixing it, I can still see it in my head. Like they're over there mixing this cocktail that is lethal to all the junk that was in my body. And then they said, oh, and you're going to stay here for 2 weeks. And I was like, oh, no. I'm going home. People die here. I'm not doing that. And so I decided I was going to go home and heal myself. And that's what I did. And so that started this whole journey of, well, what had I been doing all my life?
Oh, maybe this is where the energy starts.
Exactly.
Wow.
So what
Okay.
had I been doing all my life?
Okay.
And I started reflecting because I really couldn't move. I started reflecting on all the things I'd been doing since I was little, like 3 all the way on up, and how I helped companies get built and sold, and how I helped teams, and how I helped in all of these different things. And I thought, yeah, if I can build a business, I can heal my body. Now I had to reverse engineer that. What did that mean?
Yes.
Right. And I started thinking about what was important, and what was important to me was water. I didn't know that was a really cool thing. It was long before water was cool. I went to college and I always imported my own water. I would go back and forth to home to bring my own water anyway, so I kind of had all of these things already baked in.
sort of already knew.
I
You didn't
already
like the
knew.
water, so you brought your own.
I already knew all these things about oh, you should eat like this. Oh, after you've been out partying all night, right? You should eat like this. After you've done this, you should do this. So I had all of these things kind of pre-baked in.
Huh.
And then I heard something on the radio about somebody, this is pretty hilarious, about somebody giving another person an orgasm without touch. And I was
Okay.
like, okay, that's really cool. I want
Yeah,
that.
I want that.
But what really struck me was, oh, if you can do that, then that means there's something more that the body has in it. It has this magical formula in it. And I started thinking about, oh, this is what I've been doing all my life. This is the way I've been thinking. This is when I would go to parties. I would get backed into a corner and people would ask me questions about their life and how to solve all their problems. And so
I know, because I've done that. I've actually walked up to her. She was like, we were someplace, and I walked up to her and I said, I have a feeling I need to be next to you. So she does have that effect on people.
Yeah. So
And
that's kind of where it all that's kind of the long short story.
Wow. That's the long, short story of where you got to where you are now.
That's the long, short story of where I got to the genesis of where I'm now. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Welcome to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show, where we talk about food, fashion, finance, and foundations of life. We are live on KCAA Radio Broadcasting Network. KCAA is affiliated with CNBC, NBC News, and NBC Sports. We are sponsored by Sheltered Studios, Fire Connect, and Building Solid Foundation.